thrill presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We've got Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning meeting with the media after practice today. Dusty Harrah, our sideline reporter, is in town. Just did an interview with Jeremiah McClellan that you'll hear as part of our 10:30 pregame show on Saturday, a 12:30 kickoff on CBS. Jerry and Georgie, of course, will have the call right here on the Oregon Sports Network. Also, it is match day for Oregon volleyball. Ducks with the home opener at Matthew Knight Arena tonight, 6 o'clock against Portland. Big plus, KWVA. They've got your coverage coming up here tonight at Matthew Knight Arena. 6 o'clock tickets are available at GoDucks.com for the opener at home against Portland. Ducks went 3-0 on the road to start the season. Now back at home looking to move to 4-0. We'll talk with Oregon volleyball head coach Trent Kirsten. Yesterday, practice ran long, so coach sprinted over. We recorded an interview. Then he sprinted back to do film session with his team. And now we will play that interview for you on the show today. As a result, though, you got to hear from Dante Moore a day earlier than we had initially planned, which I don't think anybody was upset about. I wasn't upset about it. We're going to hear from Aaron Flowers, a few others coming up here from Oregon football as well. Without further ado, though, let's hear from Coach Lanning. This is the last time that Coach Lanning will meet with the media this week. Normally, this is the time of the show where I'd be telling you to tune into the Oregon Football Coaches Show to hear from Coach Lanning one more time. But we're throwing you a curveball today. Joe Lorig, special teams coordinator, is going to be on the Oregon Football Coaches Show tonight. After a great special teams performance, Coach Lorig will join us here this evening at 7 o'clock on the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Gary Bryant Jr., Duck wide receiver, will also be with us here tonight. So, for the final time this week, we hear from Coach Lanning, brought to you by the Went Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care, close to home. Coach Lanning today.
All right. Really good practice today. As far as intensity level and execution, was really proud of that, putting stuff together on a little bit shorter week in comparison to what these guys have had for prep. So good job today. Excited to get back out and get to work tomorrow and Friday to get ready for this game.
Tion played a big role in that first game. I think he even got the start next to Amari. What have you seen from him in his growth over the past year?
Yeah, just he came in with size and a lack of experience, right? And it's just different from high school ball to college ball. But did a really good job of utilizing his hands, has been consistent throughout practice, so really proud of his growth.
What did y'all see from Brandon to put him in position to start in the first place, and then looking back at the film from the first game and some of the plays that he did make, what stood out to you about his performance? Yeah, above-line football, right? I mean, he probably takes the work necessary to be good as serious as anybody. This guy grinds, right? I mean, and he's mature beyond his years as far as how much time does it take to be great. Like, he puts in the time. He's one of the first in the building every morning. He's watching extra film. He's early to practice to get a warm-up, right? He's gonna do the extra. And because he does the extra and then executes at a high level, it's allowed him to be successful out there.
Flowers spoke yesterday. He talked about taking it upon himself to learn more about the entire defense to help him see where he fits. What have you seen in terms of his growth there? And, of course, obviously, what do you think he brings as a player and athlete? Yeah, when he first got here, he was waiting for somebody else to communicate, right, with him to say, okay, here's what I got to do next. Right now, he's the guy that's helping activate that communication, right? He's the one has an active role in that. And because of that, it allows him to see things quicker and execute faster. And when you have a talented player and he's able to execute fast, it gives him a chance. And that's what he's been able to do so far.
You've mentioned it multiple times. Your players have talked about it to your veterans, about this young group of players, of their drive to be better, their commitment to show up early and stay late. Is that something, I know you target it every year, but more importantly this year for the last class, or I guess just what kind of fostered that mentality for such a young group of first-year players?
Yeah, I just think the standard's starting to set in here. And there's good examples of leaders that are, have been here and know what it looks like. And then there's guys that are really hungry, right? You're looking for ambitious guys, right? But that are also understand that if I don't do what's necessary, I don't deserve that role. And I think they realize, like, you got to pay rent every single day. We're always looking for that when we're looking for players or guys that are ambitious. They love ball. They want to be great. They're infatuated with being great. They see growth moments. And we have a lot of guys on our team like that right now.
Don't think we saw Jaleel very much, if at all, on defense this past week. Just didn't know if that was in any way health related or if that was in part just strategically to get some of the young guys some more reps before him necessarily.
Combination, but he's been able to go and practice. He's been able to do some good things for us in practice. I know we were able to use him on kickoff and some other situations. Dime would be a scenario where he'll show up, and I think if he keeps attacking reps and opportunities, then some of those can start to go up.
What stood out to you about the offensive line after getting a chance to watch the film, and where do you feel like the comfort level's at with that group compared to where the start of the season was last year?
Yeah, I like our group. Probably what stood out more than anything is that there was a lot of moving parts, right? There was a lot of changing pieces, and the way that they handled that, I was proud of the way they handled that. And again, I thought we blocked with an intensity up front. I think we can do a better job spotting some of our runs and making sure we're on the right guys, but they played with great effort.
Tatum has talked in the past about feeling the pressure to grow as both a player and a leader because you guys lost so many starters on defense. How has he evolved in those areas? And also, what's it like having a father-son dynamic on the team?
Yeah, I'll start with that. Like, super special that Tony and Tatum get to be on the field every single day. I couldn't imagine what that feeling is, like walking off the field with your son, at practice, and the pride he has. He wants to see him do it right. Never once have you ever heard Tony say, "Hey, we should put Tatum in for this or do that." Like, never once in my entire time here. Right? Everybody in our program respects the crap out of Tatum because of how he works and what he does. He just does his job. And we've talked enough about saying, hey, the absence of leadership has to show up, that our players have really owned that. And we're not talking about that anymore, right? That's kind of like, hey, that was what we talked about in January and February, and now it's here. And we've had a lot of guys step up and show that leadership. But Tatum's super consistent. Pretty awesome dynamic to be able to say, hey, not only am I a coach, but I'm also a father of a guy on the team. And that's something that makes you operate with pride.
Something that fans were certainly curious about since Saturday was Makai's usage and just the relative either pecking order and how much in carries and touches he got. If there was a strategy, a thought process you could offer by explanation for those who were curious about that.
We got a lot of really good players, right? And there were plays that he was in called runs, and we had heavy boxes, and the ball was thrown. He's also in a 2-minute scenario, right, where the ball's probably going to be thrown a little bit more. But we got a lot of really, really talented players, and it's going to be a continued challenge for us to figure out how do we use guys in the proper roles.
How has Makai responded to the situation, given that he transferred here from a place where he was the guy?
Yeah, he works every single day. You haven't heard this guy say anything but, like, how can I help the team? Let's go.
I was hoping for something a bit personal, anecdotal about Big Mike, and if you happen to know what the origins of that nickname are, and if there is, from your perspective, any similarity to Michael Orr and his personality and the way it comes through, if that is the origins of it.
Feels like a reach to me. Yeah, that feels like a reach. But I know he ran really fast today when we did a high-speed goat drill. Right. But this guy's grown up as a player. He's starting to show up. It's a little bit different being a father too. Right. And he's handling that really well. Talked
a lot about Takorian being above the line. What's made Cooper above the line for you guys?
Man. And Cooper had an unbelievable spring. Right. He makes plays. He consistently catches the ball. He's in the right spot. He pushes himself really hard to the point of exhaustion, and that's what's going to allow him to play fast on game day. But just been really pleased, with his growth. He's not operating like he's a freshman. He's not a guy that's saying, okay, let me wait my turn. He's out there saying, okay, how can we get better every single rep? And he's done a really good job.
We talked throughout the offseason about the thinness of relative numbers of the linebacker room, and just wanted to get an update on Braden and Dylan in general, and then your thoughts on the guys who did play, because those who did obviously got a good number of reps.
Yeah, I thought they played well. There's certainly still room for improvement. Dylan was out there practicing today. Looked good. Braden's still a little limited, but when he's ready, we'll have him back out there.
I know you didn't create this for public consumption, Dan, but I don't know exactly when it was, but there was a video that got shared from a family of service member that you had taken the time to, I guess, sign a football and send it to him and do that. Just was curious of how that kind of comes about and when that was, and just the thought process behind and what that meant to you to be able to offer that to a fan.
Oh, man, always grateful to people in service that protect this country. I mean, I think we're really fortunate to get to live where we live and do what we do. And, if you get an opportunity to say thank you, that's the least that any of us can do. So I don't remember. I think my wife actually brought it up to me because someone had reached out to her. But whoever has a request, I want to be able to try to do the best I can to fulfill that, especially for somebody that does service for us.
Head coach Dan Lanning meeting with the media ahead of the 12:30 kickoff against Oklahoma State on Saturday. Matt asking, can you make an event for the football game on Facebook? Honestly, Matt, I have never been the one that makes the event on Facebook. However, there are people that are a lot smarter than me that might know how to do that and actually set it up. So I will pass that note along. Anyone in the studio, do we used to make events for I think we did. I remember these things. We'll ask Dusty Harrah if he remembers when we come back. Our sideline reporter is going to join us here next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt U.S. Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, where Duck Insider is presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. He's Dusty Harrah.
Hey-o.
Every Wednesday, maybe some Tuesdays. Who knows, perhaps a Thursday or a Friday if he's ever in town to be a guest picker. How'd you do in picks this week?
I was the coin.
The coin did okay, but I was thinking, privately.
My
you
private
went
picks?
17-0.
Oh, as far as you know, I went undefeated. Yeah.
Jerry did go undefeated in week 1. Jerry was a perfect 17-0 in his picks.
Jerry sandbags at times, I think. I think he likes to play I don't know. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Oh,
he's on it.
He's on it. Yeah, it was a perfect 17-0. Georgie and I went 16-1.
Perfect.
Tough.
What a good weekend.
Yeah, good
What was
weekend
your
for
one?
the Big Ten, Texas. Georgie and I took Texas.
All
Jerry
right.
went with the home team. Got the Ohio State pick.
Wow.
So,
Hey, you can't win them all unless you're Jerry.
Right. Right. Jerry Allen will be here tonight for the Oregon Football Coaches Show. We'll make picks again coming up on Friday. Game 1. General question. What'd you think?
Boy, this team is fast. I think that's really one of the things that stuck out to me in that Montana State game is the overall team speed that, Coach Lanning talked about it at Big Ten Media Days. Like, team speed was something that they emphasized in the offseason. You saw it play out on the field. And seeing them go up against other competition, it popped. And, you can say the, FCS to FBS level, and yes, that is true. There is a difference in size and speed, but the team flew around. And then the other thing that really popped out to me was the depth. The depth really was eye-opening because you saw so many new guys rotating in early in the game, and they continued in waves, and there was no drop-off. And I think that is the most encouraging sign, is you have a big, fast team that is deep.
I think what you love to see, too, with the rotation, and I mentioned this a little bit during the broadcast, like, it wasn't just when the score was in control, right? The Ducks were rotating very early in the game, particularly on defense at the wide receiver and the skill positions. Like, every running back on the roster seemingly gets carries. I mean, that's by design, and that's because they have that depth.
No doubt about it. And you think of what depth does to you over the course of the year. Like, it's so much now in the world of college athletics, it's, well, if you don't start a game, then how long are you going to be around? Well, the reality of it is that the great programs, they keep that depth because you're fresh at the end of the year.
Right.
And you're still getting a lot of carries at the end of a season, or a lot of snaps at the end of a season, because you've built up that depth and your legs are staying more fresh. And I think that goes back to culture and getting buy-in and that understanding, and that there's a lot of emotional maturity that has to happen to where guys buy into, no, I'm going to get my turn. I just got to make the most of it. And that's something that Coach Lanning and the staff talk about often, is be ready for that opportunity and maximize when you get it.
When you talk about culture, we talked about this on the broadcast. I mean, you see that downfield blocking, for example, skill positions are blocking. That was something you highlighted with DeCorian Moore.
I loved all of the receivers and their tenacity, and you see receivers blocking downfield, and there is something about seeing a true freshman in DeCorian Moore mix it up on the first play of the game when Noah Whittington springs a big run, and all of a sudden you see number one down the field and he's on the backside of the play. That was okay. He's ready. He wants to play. Everybody's talking about the Gary Bryant touchdown. And that was a heck of a block, but that was one of many that he made in the entire receiving core doing that. I love to see that in any receiver, any team, anywhere. But when you got a collection of guys doing it, good things are going to happen for your offense.
And none of that really, I think, was surprising to the coaching staff. Like, they've seen that. That we've talked so much about the recruiting classes that have been stacked and brought in, but what I loved then, and Georgie said this on the game, is that you also saw it later in the game, right? Yeah. When the score is out of hand. We've already talked about how the rotation was what the rotation was, but yet here we are still having that conversation about guys playing like that late in the game. You have to see that.
Yeah, you got to see that, and then you got to see whether it's blocking or what they call love of the game routes, right? Where you're not getting the ball, based
you're hustling.
On when you're sitting there and you line up and you're going, the coverage is telling me I'm not getting the ball here. How hard are you going?
Right.
And whether it's your starters or the guys down the depth chart, to see that kind of effort, and you have love of the game routes in a play fake for running backs. You see it from never an offensive line, because they're always working hard. Those guys have like the hardest job in the world. But you see it in the secondary. Play goes away. What are you doing? Are you just watching the play, or are you going and you're trying to get in on the action? And are you taking the proper pursuit angle? All of those things play a huge factor, and seeing it early in the season is a bright spot, because it's kind of been honed in. It's all right as competition continues to ramp up and you get bigger and better tests, and as the season starts to wear on, how long can you maintain that and keep that going?
Dusty Harrah with us in the Country Financial Studio. I asked you a lot there about things that are your takeaways. Now, did anything surprise you?
Wow, that's a good question. That I think.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
Yeah, I think the command that a lot of the guys had that we were seeing for the first time getting meaningful snaps, the command, whether it was offensively or defensively, and I think everybody's eyes went to the command of Dante Moore at quarterback in his first start. being able to get his protection set in the right way, to know where all of his hot routes and his safety valves were going to be. It wasn't just because the offensive line built a wall, which they did it for a majority of the game. The Jay Harris 50-yard reception was Dante Moore sliding his protection to the opposite side because he saw pressure coming and knowing right where Jay Harris was going to be and that he was going to be the replacer to the blitzer. He locked on that, got the ball out quick, and Jay Harris was off to the races. And that was a incredible throw, but pre-snap is where he did all the work to make that happen.
Sure. You talk about like the running back position is a great example of this depth that we're talking about, which was by design, right? I mean, the Ducks utilize so many different guys. We'll see if that rotation shrinks this week. Might not.
Boy, I really like that running back room because you can, as we always say, styles make fights in football games. They have the styles that can play against kind of everybody, right? You've got thunder, you've got lightning, you've got the Swiss Army knives that can come out of the backfield and be receiving backs, or you can put them in short yardage situations. The secondary's got a lot of those guys too, where you've got big old pterodactyls with long arms on the outside that can cover big body receivers. You got short, quick guys that can play the scat back type receivers. Those are, having versatility is never a bad thing, and there's a ton of it in that running back room especially.
And you talk about some uniqueness that the Ducks had in this game and the depth that's on display. Maybe there's no better way to put it than 4 quarterbacks taking snaps during a game. And again, happened relatively early. Like you saw Austin Ovasad come in to relieve Dante Moore, Luke Moga, and then Brock Thomas even ends the game. That you don't see that often. The last time I can remember was the Fiesta Bowl, actually, in 2014.
Yeah.
It was like Marcus started, Jeff Locke saw some action, Taylor Alley. Shout out to Taylor Alley. We actually heard him in This Week in Duck Football History from Georgie, and then Morgan Mahalik.
We got back-to-back Sheldon quarterbacks in each of those situations with Taylor Alley and Brock Thomas now.
That's true.
Eugene locals.
That's right. And I just think that was such a cool illustrative point, though, of like, hey, this is the snap variety that this team can have. And now the question is, will it continue this week? Certainly the score can impact that, but I think the Ducks do want to play a lot of guys again.
I think that's just going to be the brand of football that we see moving forward. I mean, that is why anybody that says recruiting stars and recruiting doesn't matter, until it's about what happens when they get on campus. No, it does, and it's developing your talent. And when you do a really good job of developing that talent, you get more guys out on the field. And when you have, as Coach Lanning calls them, the above-the-line guys,
right,
those are the guys that you don't just sit there and say, well, he could be playing, but we have this guy. No, you breed that competition, that culture of competition, and you keep putting those guys in because they've given you no reason not to play them. And I think that also, as an athlete, I think that's what we all want, right? As anybody who's competed in anything, is that if you're sitting there and you're thinking like, hey, I am one of those above-the-line guys, you keep getting that shot.
Yeah. He's Dusty Harrah. Game 2 coming up. He'll be roaming the sidelines again. Oklahoma State. What do you make of him?
They are a Big 12 team that last year, Mike Gundy is a really good coach. And last year was an outlier for his entire career at Oklahoma State. They will present challenges. They've got a really good wide receiver on the outside. The quarterback went down with a broken foot in week 1, and he won't be playing. And, outside of that, though, you've got a Power 4 conference team with a rich history of winning football games that is coming into Autzen Stadium. And that's not to be taken lightly, and I don't think anybody, in the HDC or on the practice fields are ever going to be taking any opponent lightly, whether it's, Montana State, Oklahoma State, or any Big Ten opponent. But, this is a team that has a lot to prove, and it's not because they have a void of talent. They are a talented group, and they went to the transfer portal, and they tried to rectify, some of the woes that they had last year. And coming out 27-7 in the opener against UT Martin, they are trying to prove a point to everybody this year.
Yeah, it was odd to see an Oklahoma State team go 0-9 in conference play. It was 18 straight years they had a winning record.
It's incredible. Yeah. And Coach Gundy's done a great job with that program and an innovative offensive mind. And, if they aren't going to beat you physically, they'll beat you with scheme. And that's kind of always what he's hung his hat on. I'm interested to see this iteration of Oklahoma State, though. Biggest improvements come from between week 1 and week 2. Oklahoma State's looking for that, but so is Oregon. Yeah. And there's, I think on the surface, as fans, everybody's sitting back and going, I don't know how much you're going to clean up after special teams, offense, and defense played as well as the Ducks did in week 1. But they're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. And, I think Coach Lanning even said it in the post-game presser, right, where he goes, it was a great block by DeCorian. He was blocking the wrong guy.
Yeah. When he said that, I just went, gosh, that is like a coach's dream, right? You get to applaud the effort. Everybody's happy about it. But then, hey, we could do this differently on, who we're blocking. Like, that's a coach's film room dream.
Yeah, 100%. Where if you're going to do it wrong 100%. That's, every coach will say that, and he got it out of DeCorian Moore. That was such an impressive block, and to see how excited Gary got, that was really cool too, because Gary celebrates everything for everybody, and I think that's one of the really cool things that Gary Bryant Jr. brings to that receiver room is he's just as excited for everybody else making plays as he is.
Gary Bryant Jr. on the Coaches Show tonight. Also, Dave Hunziker, he is the voice of the Cowboys, is going to join us on the show tomorrow. So some more thoughts on the Oklahoma State side of things. What do you want to see in Game 2?
A lot of touchdowns.
Okay.
Can I go with that?
More points than the other team. He's Dusty.
Yeah. Yes. And look, the pressure was there against Montana State getting home, and Mateo got home a couple of times against Montana State. But seeing the fruits of that labor and that effort kind of show up, that's always a bright spot and a fun spot. And then, just continued balance offensively. 253 rushing and 253 passing. You literally cannot get more balance than that, and effective when you put up 506 yards of total offense. But to see that balance continue to show throughout the season and not having to rely on one thing or the other makes it so hard for the opposition to game plan for you when you do have an effective run and passing game.
Dusty Harrah, he will be set up again near the North Ticket office. So
That's
if you
right.
cruise by and you hear this voice, you know why. It's because they're doing their pregame show in Portland.
Come say hi. 4 hours before kickoff, we're on the air, and we're going to be out at right outside, right in between PK and that North Ticket box right there.
And then Dusty will be with us for our 10:30 pregame show network-wide coming up across the Oregon Sports Network on Saturday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Timeout. Coming back, talking volleyball. Match day. 3-0 start to the season. Head coach Trent Kirsten next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Trent, Kirsten, and the Oregon Volleyball team are in action at Matthew Knight Arena tonight. It's a 6 o'clock start. Big Plus and KWVA has your coverage. I'll tell you, I'm excited to watch Oregon Volleyball at home in front of the home fans. Got a taste of it with the green and yellow scrimmage a few weeks back. Starting 3-0 on the road to begin the season. Pretty darn happy head coach Trent Kersten as we preview the home opener tonight. Trent Kersten is here, Oregon Volleyball head coach. All right, behind the scenes, practice goes long. Coach is grinding, getting ready for a home opener. And so here we are talking the day of the home opener now after he rushed over from Matthew Knight Arena. Thanks, Coach.
Of course.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Yep.
First match, that's 1. You got to win. Second match, that's 2. You got 2. Third one. That's 3. Yeah. A 3-0 weekend. Coach, congratulations on a 3-0 weekend.
Thank you.
That has to be cool.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for us. We got to spend an extra day in Bozeman, too, and obviously just beautiful up there. Did some team stuff the first 2 days, which was awesome, and then had a pretty good tournament. We probably played our best volleyball in the last game, which is what you want through a weekend. And so I thought we did enough to win. Obviously, some highlights, some really great stuff going on our side of the court, and getting exposed in some areas that we need to be sharper in still.
All right, multiple follow-ups now.
Yeah.
I got to ask you the emotional question. Do you have any nerves before first serve in the Friday matchup? What was your mind like?
I think, as a coach, I think your default is to just work your tail off, right? And so I don't think I slept much the night before our first game. Especially because there's only so much you can prep for because there's so much new, so much you don't know,
right.
And so was really excited after the South Dakota match because, again, like they do such a good job within their conference. They're top 3 almost every single year. They play a totally different style than we play. They're like totally defensive. They dig a ton of balls, and we're more offensive and physical. And so like that was an interesting challenge for us to navigate in that first one. And then Prairie View was a brand new team, brand new coaching staff, and challenged us on the pins in some new ways. And then lastly, Montana State, they just compete really hard. I told the coach, who was at Minnesota for, I think, 9 years under Hugh, and I just told him, I was like, I love how your team competes. They bring it every single time, and they are obviously on their home court, had a good crowd and stuff like that too.
I was curious how much you adjusted over the course of the weekend, for you, the whole team, just because there were so many unknowns, as we talked about, and so many new faces meshing together.
Yeah, I think it was cool to see us kind of come together, us find some sort of rhythm, but also for certain people to come in and have an impact off the bench. Like, for example, Alana, who I know we want to talk about right now, she didn't start in the first 2 matches. She came off the bench and had a huge impact and then started in the last one, And so I think that shows, like, hey, we have some options that we can take off the bench, and an opportunity for people that maybe aren't having the best day to come in and have their back, when they get their opportunity on the court.
Well, to that point, Alana, Big Ten, I should say, freshman of the week. I'm still thinking, like, you're on the West Coast, Pac, but Big Ten freshman of the week, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, what an incredible honor for her. I texted the team yesterday right before it came out on just, hey, like, individual awards are great, but it takes everyone to make this happen, and from taking care of Alana when she got here on campus as a freshman to all the little things in between over the weekend and making sure we're all coordinated correctly and we're all playing our best together. Like, individual awards are awesome, but it's really about the team.
Talking volleyball with Trent Kirsten, you mentioned it just about, the rotation did change a little bit. Your lineup did change. You got options, though, as you said. This is how I wanted to ask you that question. Like, how many options do you have right now, Coach? It seems like quite a few.
Yeah, so we're in kind of an untraditional 6-2. It's called like 6-2 setters for middles. So the setters and middles are opposite each other, which is a cool way to design it because usually the thing that gets most impacted is the relationship between the setter and the middle. And so this way they're paired, so they're always with the same setter. Right, and you can usually absorb some of the other differences in other places. But what this also allows us to do is it allows us to play 4 pins on the court, libero when we need to. Our libero group is coming on strong right now. They've done a really great job responding. I know we talked a couple weeks ago. It's like, gosh, I'm ready for them to handle this adversity and push through it. They're doing a much better job right now, and so that's been cool to see. But it gives us some options with what pins we want to use and where we want to put them. We can switch block really effectively. Let's say we have a team's most physical player in a certain rotation. We can switch block to also put our most physical player onto that person.
Yeah, you touched on it. I wanted to ask you about that. Like the way that you can sub, it gives you a lot of versatility as a coach, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And so it's a little bit different lineup, but we also have something else that we're working on right now. It's a little bit more traditional that has its own advantages, and so we're trying to figure out like how, I think we spoke about this last time, how long can we make this list of ways we can win games right now. And so that's what we're working on and working through. And maybe it takes away a little bit from us being in a perfect rhythm, but I think it speaks to the strength of our roster that we've built as a staff, and people that have committed to us, and we want to find out how we just kind of emphasize their strengths.
Well, and you touched on like having the rotation that can give you the best chance to win, and then we also said because of so many options in your rotation, you might be difficult to scout. This has to feel that way then a little bit too. Like if I'm the opposition, I'd be like, what are we preparing for with your team? How big of a deal is that?
Yeah, I think it is a big deal. I think you lose some, strength in numbers on distributions in each rotation. And, let's use a football example of like, hey, if we're in this formation and we always target our first wide receiver, our wide receiver one, like eventually teams pick up on that and they like double or triple that player, right? And so
can't always set to the same pin.
Yeah, and so for us, it gives us some flexibility on that stuff, and we can change some pins around, whether they're on the right or the left, a little bit more often in this current lineup that we played in this weekend. And so again, lots of options for us. It'll be tough to scout us. We have some individual players that had some great moments. Obviously, Alana, I think she hit over 600 on the weekend, which is just insane.
Yeah.
And I think she was over 5 points a set, maybe 6, something like that. And so those are some pretty incredible numbers. And so now for her, like that can't be the expectation. Like, hey, let's go in and have another couple great games this week, but we don't need you to be a superhero. We need you to, hit our standards of where we need to be.
I was curious, talking about Alana and then other freshmen too that performed well. Like that's a big deal. I mean, for transfer, first time you're putting the on, like I get it, that's a big deal. But for freshmen, the lights go on. It feels a little different, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we might be a little bit of advantage because we have so many freshmen playing for us right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like maybe we have a better shot at getting some more Freshman of the Week awards because we can have so many candidates.
Per cap. I get it. No, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. But that's cool, though, to see that experience coming through right away, isn't it?
100%. And I think it goes into the recruiting philosophy of the 3 platforms we want to recruit on. We want to recruit traditionally through our domestic, high school, and clubs. We want to recruit internationally, and we want to recruit transfers. And so you saw probably each of those categories on the court having a huge impact on us winning and losing last weekend.
Well, you talked about that. I wanted to ask you about Val. I mean, just the experience that Val brings. Tell fans a little bit about her story, what you've expected from her, and what she's done for you so far this season.
Yeah, Val was such a rock for us, specifically in the first 2 games. We were kind of just dishing to her for a while, and she was holding us above water, and we were able to tread water defensively a little bit, and then she really won a few of those sets for us, and so that was cool to see. I mean, she's an incredible human. I love getting to coach her. She just wants to know, like, hey, what do I need to do? Tell me exactly what I need to hear. No gray area, just tell me straight up, right? And it's been really enjoyable to get to coach her. She's got such a great mind for the game, and how she processes situations on the court is super interesting. I've never had an athlete like this, and so that's been really fun to kind of explore with her. But again, like super physical, great serve, huge arm, one of the best arms in the conference for sure.
Well, it's interesting. We're going to come back to that later in the season, I'm sure, about that mental approach.
Yeah.
Head coach Trent Kirsten with us. All right, Portland is in town, 6 o'clock Wednesday night. Home volleyball at Matthew Knight Arena is back. It'll be on Big Plus. It'll be on KWVA. What do you anticipate here against your opponent?
Yeah, so Portland went 3-0 this past weekend. They're looking good. They're running super fast to the pins right now, a little bit slower in the middle. They flip through a couple different libero options, but it'll be a challenge for us because they are so fast to the pins. Can we set up our block correctly again, which I think I've been as transparent as I could be. We're not where we need to be on the defensive side of the ball yet, and so hopefully we can use this as an opportunity to be a little bit sharper there, and hopefully create some more opportunities in transition for us.
Ducks are back at home at Matthew Knight Arena again on Saturday, 6 o'clock. Colorado State is in town, so after Oregon football with a matchup against Oklahoma State, you just make your way back across the river to campus, and you'll be at Matthew Knight Arena for a 6 o'clock start against Colorado State. Well, Coach, what else should fans know heading into some home openers, huh? Just how excited are you to have fans back in the arena?
So excited. Also, just congrats to football last weekend. It was so fun watching that. It was a little awkward walking around the college town of Bozeman with all of our Oregon gear on after that happened, but so stoked for them. Congrats to Coach and the team, and just can't wait. Hopefully we get some crowd from the football game. I know it's a long day. I understand it, but we need you. We need to come support this new team and show them what playing in Eugene is all about.
Did you get any, real dirty looks?
No. I didn't
even think about that. Here's this group of people in Oregon gear just walking through Bozeman. After, oh, man.
Yeah, no, they were super kind. They were great hosts to us. Can't say enough about their program and what Matt is doing, and really, really grateful that they were able to host us in our first weekend.
Just so weird that it worked out that way, right, with the scheduling. Well, Coach, enjoy some home matches. Glad that you get to be at home after a 3-0 start. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Trent, Kirsten, Oregon Volleyball in action tonight at 6 o'clock. Big Plus has the stream for you, as well as KWVA on the hometown radio call. Timeout. How about the freshman of the week in the Big Ten Conference when we come back? Alana Clemente. We're going to hear from her next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon.
Coming up tonight, we've got the Oregon Football Coaches Show, 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network and on the Oregon Football social media channels. You might be watching on the Go Ducks YouTube. That's where we're potentially you're watching Duck Insider right now. We got the Oregon Football Coaches Show with Special Teams Coordinator Joe Lurig, as well as wide receiver Gary Bryant Jr. coming your way tonight at 7. Also tonight, around Oregon Athletics, 6 o'clock, Oregon Volleyball first serve against Portland at Matthew Knight Arena in the home opener. And the Big Ten Freshman of the Week, Alana Clemente, met with the media, previewing what's to come, but also looking back at early season success where the Ducks have gone 3-0. The Big Ten Freshman of the Week, Alana Clemente.
What do you feel like you know about yourselves now that you might not have 4 or 5 days ago before the weekend?
I just feel like we know, because it's been like we're all new here, so like just meshing well as a team. I feel like we know that like we can do this and we can compete with like some of the more top teams, I guess. So I think that's just like such a big thing for us that we got that weekend to just play together and just like really be cohesive as a team.
Just how important will that cohesiveness be with so many new players? You guys are all playing together. Maybe what's one thing that you guys have learned about yourself that has helped with that connection?
We've done like a lot of like mental stuff. Like we've had like a million meetings about like just like being there for each other. So like I feel like one thing, I guess, is just understanding that we all come from like different places and that we all like view things differently, and like there's many different perspectives. So I think just having that and going in with a positive mindset really helps us.
Just you individually, just how's this transition going to this level? And it seems from the outside that you're making it pretty comfortable, look pretty comfortable, but does it feel comfortable?
It's really comfortable. Like I'm so excited to be playing at such like a high level. I feel like I've worked really hard and like I want this really bad. So I'm just like so excited that finally I get this opportunity to just play with girls who are just experienced as me and like just have fun, I guess.
How have you handled like expectation setting for yourself individually this year and kind of what you want to get out of it and kind of where you want to be as a player by the end of the fall?
I feel like I'm handling it well. I mean, there's always room for improvement, but I feel like I'm doing well. Like Trent, he's amazing. Like when it comes to like helping out with like things that we need individually. So I definitely feel like he's a main thing that's keeping me going with like my experience and stuff.
Is there an element of your game that you really want to feel like you want to be much better at the end of this year compared to the beginning?
Definitely, I think my serve. I really want to work on just like dialing in, being consistent for my team and going after it and like getting aces for them.
What's it been like to kind of be able to step on campus and then immediately become one of the impact players on the team?
It feels great, honestly. Just coming into this, I didn't really think that I'd be like a big impact because all these girls are just so amazing. So I wasn't really going to this thinking like, oh, like I'm gonna be this top player. I was going into this thinking like I just want to get better for future things rather than like the present. So yeah.
Do you recall a moment, whether it was in a practice or an exhibition or even over this weekend, when you were like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to provide some sort of an impact for this team, whatever that is, this year?
Definitely the Montana game. I just felt like not to like gloat about myself. I just felt like I really did what like I was supposed to do, and I was there for my team, and I like kept a positive outlook on things and like kept us going. So I just feel like that moment I was like, okay, like I think I'm ready for this. Like I'm ready to get going into conference and all that stuff.
You had an amazing first weekend, and your accuracy especially was really on point. What worked well in terms of hitting accurately, and then with your setters, how did you connect well with them?
I think it's a lot about just like off the court, because I have such a good relationship with my setters off the court that on the court it was just so comfortable, like having a connection with them and just like going through playing together for like those 3 sets.
It's exciting to be able to play at home.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. Like we just went through a walkthrough of everything that we're going to be doing tomorrow, and I just can't wait to just have all of our fans here and like show love to them. I love cheering outwardly and like just connecting with the fans. So that's one of like the biggest things. Like the game's fun, but just like connecting with other people is just what really means most to me.
The fans are going to see a pretty much completely different new team from last year. What can you just tell them about this year's team and what they can expect tomorrow?
They can expect us to compete. We work really hard, and like I think we're a talented team, and I thank the fans for trusting us because I know that we're a completely new team, and like it's hard to just be like, you don't know what you're gonna expect, but you can expect us to compete, go after it. Like we want to give our all to you guys.
What did you like about what you saw from the middles in the first 3 games?
I did. I liked how intense they were, and like we worked really hard on the scouting report and like our blocking and stuff. So I was just like really proud of them for really dialing in, like getting there and just like putting their best out there for the team.
Coach Trent just kind of talked about, especially at Big Ten Media Days, just about how he's kind of known for running a faster offense, but with all these new parts, it's going to take a while for you guys to get there. Do you feel like you kind of built a little bit more connection, and where are you kind of at with that speed right now?
I feel like there's always room for improvement, so I'm doing okay with it, but definitely with a lot more practice and a lot like just getting used to it, I feel like I'm just going to be able to like get better at it and be good at it.
What's it been like having Maya around as the only person who's been with the program for this long?
Amazing. I love Maya so much. She means a lot to me. Being the only person, she like knows everything. So whenever I need anything or any help, like I go to Maya. Like I love her so much. On the court, she's amazing. Off the court, she's amazing. Just all around, she's been such like a rock for this team, being the only one that was left on the team. So I just appreciate Maya for going into this with like such a positive attitude and for just giving all of her love to us.
Turning the page to Portland now, just what makes their offense really threatening, and what are some keys you're going to have to focus in on in order to win tomorrow's match?
We were working on it. They run a wide and a cash, which is a much faster set. So I think just some things that we worked on was like getting all the way to the pins and like getting head on ball and just setting up a good block and making sure we're pressing. So definitely some key things would just be really using our feet and like pushing in order to get out to the pin so that they can't like find an edge on us.
Were there any teams that you saw this past weekend that ran a fast offense, or were they pretty high?
They were pretty high sets. Like I think Portland's probably the first team that we'll encounter that's running such a fast offense, so it'll definitely be a challenge for us, but I think we can execute well.
What's that next step do you feel like the team needs to take in order to kind of prepare now with all of these non-conference games for a really competitive Big Ten schedule?
I think some of the next steps, we just have to go in like hungry for it. I think definitely like just taking time and like being intentional with all of our reps and going to film like with Trent or anything is definitely like something that we can do to like get better.
I know that you guys have a lot of players, not from like different parts of like the United States, but also from like all over the world. How has the language barrier been, and how has that grown?
It's actually a funny thing. At the tournament, I'm rooming with Maria. She's from France, and I was asking her about a mansion, and she just had like no idea what I was saying. So she was like, no, like I'm not advanced at English, and I'm like, okay. So like definitely I feel there is some sort of a language barrier, but we're all patient. Like we understand. Like we're not. I feel like we're not the type of team to just be like, oh, you don't understand this, like and get annoyed at it. Like we're patient with them. We take time to explain new things to them. So yeah.
Do you feel like the on-court communication is good, but it's like off the court, you're like little things
Yeah,
you're like
on the court I feel like we all play volleyball. Like we know, I guess, the terms and stuff. So on the court it's good, but sometimes off the court it's just a little bit of a barrier. But we work through it.
That's great getting to know Alana Clemente, the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Really impressive performance. Ducks are 3-0, trying to move to 4-0 tonight at 6 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena. Timeout. Get you ready for the Oregon Football Coaches Show tonight as well. Next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
Duck Volleyball tonight, as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Also, the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Special Teams Coordinator Joe Lorig. I'm telling you, tonight on the Oregon Football Coaches Show, 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network. You can watch on the Oregon Football social media channels. I'm betting you that you will learn something from Joe Lorig tonight. The way that Oregon approaches special teams, I think it's safe to say, and I am a bit biased, I think it's safe to say that Oregon, though, is elite when it comes to prioritizing special teams and executing on special teams. And maybe last week is the best example. I mean, you have a moment. It was awesome being in the broadcast booth even while Jerry and Jorgie were talking about this, where it was like a penalty flag gets thrown, and Jerry was like, boy, I think you'd want to make them repunt that, right? And then what happens? Hey, yeah, we're going to repunt this ball now because the Ducks are going to make them repunt it as part of the penalty. As a result, works out Oregon's way. Ducks get great field position on that blocked punt, and really two. I know technically one of them wasn't blocked, but it sure looked like it was blocked. And the way that the Ducks impacted the kick, that's coached, right? Gary Bryant Jr., Ducks punt returner on the show tonight, as well as special teams coordinator Joe Lorig. We're going to learn something about special teams this evening. Tomorrow, Dave Hunziker, longtime voice of Oklahoma State, will join us. We'll probably have to talk about that 2008 Holiday Bowl. See you tonight.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know